the Walnut Creek Library Foundation, and it's a pleasure to welcome you here to this latest in our series of Live from the Library presentations of authors, scholars, community leaders, and tonight entertainers. A brief announcement. You probably noticed that the elevator over here is out, so if you need an elevator to get down later or anytime during the program, we have an extra elevator, so just look for Lauren right here or Marissa in the back, and we'll get you out easily. I want to thank our season sponsors, Minuteman Press of Lafayette and the Friends of the Walnut Creek Library. And I want to thank all of you for your support. You support us by coming to these programs, and I know some of you support us financially, which is really important, because even though these programs are free, they're not free to do. And so we rely on your support, not just for this Live from the Library series, but this is just a tiny snapshot of just a few of the programs that the Walnut Creek Library Foundation is sponsoring right now. And we sponsor programs like that throughout the year. In fact, we also were part of the process of acquiring this wonderful new AV system for this room, which really brings us up to speed. So if you are a contributor to the Walnut Creek Library Foundation, congratulations and thank you. And if you're not, you can start that process tonight by just putting a few bills in a tip jar at the back of the room, or better yet, going to our website, www.wclibrary.org, and donating that way. And we're just about ready to roll out our fall campaign, so you'll be hearing more about what we do and what you can do to partner with us. But right now, let's get ready to get our toes tapping, our fingers snapping, because we're going to get some rhythm. Delise Rees is a Bay Area treasure, composer, musician, teacher, musicologist. He's been helping people to create and enjoy music for more than 30 years. And he's also a perennial favorite here in Walnut Creek. I think this is his third presentation in the Live from the Library series. Is that right? And so without further ado, please join me in welcoming Delise Rees.
This is the techie switchover bit. Okay, where's my PowerPoint?
Testing, can you hear okay?
It's me. You can go to the second slide.
We mount the cable just in case. It's blinking there.
I think this one was me.
Switch it off, switch it on again.
Exactly.
This thing's kind of loose right here. There you go.
Okay, I need the PowerPoint. Yay, right. Okay, we can skip that. Right. Okay. My introduction's been done for me, so, all right, anyway. Right, thank you all for coming. I'd like to thank Lauren and Marissa in particular for making this event possible with very patient emails and phone calls and texts and all the rest of it. And it's just a delight to be back here once again, third time apparently. I would also like to introduce my wonderful singer from San Francisco, Tim Lynch, and he's going to, which means I don't have the usual music tracks on the slides, which sometimes don't work. So thank you, Tim, for being here. Before we hear some live music, what is this weird thing called rhythm? Besides being a lucrative Scrabble word, What does it mean? Right. Okay. I'm not even going to ask anybody for a definition because we'll be here all night. Okay. So to put you out of your misery, this is a simplified 101 version. And with reference to the songs you are going to hear shortly, it is not necessary to know what rhythm means. And with reference to the song lyrics, what word rhymes with rhythm? Oh, that's close. As you think about it, I will quote my favorite rhyme of all, which is the second verse of the Addams Family. Their house is a museum when people come to. They really are a. There you go. Right. Genius composer and lyricist Irving Berlin rhymes rhythm with witham, which you shall hear shortly in the song He Ain't Got Rhythm. And of the thousands of song titles, the best of which are included in what's generally known as the Great American Songbook, I've only found about 20 that include the word rhythm in the title. I'm sure you could think of a few well-known examples. There we go. That'll do it. Fascinated Rhythm. Right. Okay, there's my hit list. I don't claim to be that it's complete. All right. So, so Tim and I hope that you will enjoy our song selection, which we shall perform chronologically, and along with some history of the music, their composers and lyricists. Okay, here we go. So Gershwin's parents were Russian-born Jewish immigrants whose prime reason for leaving their homeland was, of course, anti-Semitism. The family was blessed with 3 Brooklyn-born musical sons, Ira, George, and Arthur. Growing up in New York, the 3 brothers frequently attended performances in Yiddish theaters, and George sometimes was an extra on stage. In 1906, 10-year-old George attended a violin recital and was captivated and totally mesmerized by the music. Around the same time, the parents bought a piano, not for George, but for Ira. But it was George who spent most of the time hitting the ivories. And it was his music teacher and mentor, Charles Hambitzer, who introduced George Gershwin to classical European music and encouraged his enthusiastic students to attend concerts. In 1913, 15-year-old George left school to be a song plugger on Tin Pan Alley, earning $5 a week. In 1915, George earned $50 for his first published song, called When You Want 'Em, You Can't Get 'Em. When You've Got 'Em, You Don't Want 'Em. Haven't found a copy, no rhythm in the title, so we're not doing it tonight. Then also aged 17 years old, a novelty ragtime, Rialto Ripples, was his first commercial success. 2 years later, his first coast-to-coast hit was Swanee, a song made famous, of course, by Broadway star Al Jolson. In 1924, George and Ira wrote their first musical called Lady Be Good, which included great songs such as the title song and fascinating rhythm. So, this song, this music is 100 years young, 1924. But subsequent shows failed, such as OK, O-H-K-A-Y, Funny Face, Strike Up the Band, all failed as shows. In 1920, like so many other American composers, George went to Paris, intending to study with famed composition teacher Nadia Boulanger. But she declined, fearing that a rigorous classical study would interfere with Gershwin's natural jazz-influenced style. And Gershwin received a similar response from renowned French composer Maurice Ravel. Back in New York, George and Ira's successful Girl Crazy of 1930 included future classic songs such as Embraceable You and I Got Rhythm. And the following years, Of Thee I Sing was the first musical to receive a Pulitzer Prize for drama. In 1936, George relocated to Hollywood. He'd been commissioned by RKO to write a musical for Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers' Shall We Dance? Then in 1937, George was performing his piano concerto with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra, but instead of the usual flawless performance, his playing was filled with coordination problems and memory lapses. His health was rapidly deteriorating, and sadly, he died aged 38 of an undiagnosed brain tumor in 1937. That's his grave. Okay, ready when you are.
Okay. A quick question. Is this music stand and or my head blocking anybody's view of the slides? No. Excellent. Thanks. Yeah, my name is Tim. I'm going to be your vocalist this evening. On the menu tonight, we have some familiar favorites and a few specials.
This is a favorite.
This will probably be a favorite. Got a little rhythm, a rhythm, a rhythm, so bitter pats through my brain. So darn persistent, the day isn't distant when it'll drive me insane. Comes in the morning without any warning and hangs around all day. I'll have to sneak up to it someday and speak up to it. I hope it listens when I say, fascinating rhythm, you got me on the go. Fascinating rhythm, I'm all a quiver. What a mess you're making, the neighbors want to know why you're always shaking just like a flivver. Each morning I get up with the sun, start a hopping, never stopping, to find at night no work has been done. I know that, won't you take the day off? I'd run along when I'm sort of patter, I'm so unhappy. Won't you take a day off, decide to run along somewhere far away off and make it snappy? Oh, how I long to be the man I used to be. Fascinating rhythm, won't you stop picking on me? Fascinating rhythm, you got me on the go. Fascinating rhythm, I'm all a quiver. What a mess you're making, the neighbors want to know why I'm always shaking just like a flivver. Each morning I get up with the sun, start hopping, never stopping, to find at night no work has been done. I know that once it didn't matter, but now you're doing wrong when you start to patter. I'm so unhappy. Won't you take a day off, decide to run along somewhere far away off and make it snappy? Oh, how I long to be the man I used to be. Fascinating rhythm, won't you stop picking on me? Oh, we're going to do it again? Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Tim?
Okay. Days can be sunny with never a sigh. Don't need what money can buy. Birds in the trees sing their day full of song. Why shouldn't we sing along? I'm chipper all the day, happy with my lot. How do I get that way? Look at what I've got. I've got rhythm, I got music, I got my gal who can ask for anything more. I got daisies in green pastures. I got my gal who can ask for anything more. Old man trouble, I don't mind him. You won't find him round my door. I got starlight, I got sweet dreams. I got the one I love. Who can ask for anything more? Who can ask for anything more? I got rhythm, I got music. I got my gal who can ask for anything more. I got daisies in green pastures. I got my gal who can ask for anything more. Old man trouble, I don't mind him. You won't find him round my door. I got starlight, I got sweet dreams. I got the one I love. Who can ask for anything more? Who can ask for anything more?
It is generally agreed that the best art form in every genre stands the test of time. For music, the highest quality, always a matter of opinion, withstands repetition and never grows old. So of the unusually high number, a dozen or so songs with rhythm from the 1930s, only George Gershwin's I Got Rhythm continues to be performed. But this does not mean that the remainder are musically inferior. Through no fault of their own, by today they have fallen by the wayside, mostly due to lack of public exposure. So we hope that Mama, I Want to Make Rhythm, and He Ain't Got Rhythm support this notion. And as I'm sure you all know, Mama, I Want to Make Rhythm first appeared in the 1937 movie, I'm not going to test you, Manhattan Merry-Go-Round, a low-budget movie that failed to win an Oscar, probably because of its implausible plot. The plot is a bunch of gangsters that take over a music company and use strong-arm tactics to intimidate unwilling performers. That's the movie. Not a classic, but it includes musical performers that were popular at that time, such as Ted Lewis and his orchestra, and Kay Thompson and her ensemble. The movie also features a cameo appearance by a young Joe DiMaggio. And if all of this whets your appetite, then go to Blockbusters and rent the video. That's a joke. But for all its deficiencies, Manhattan Merry-Go-Round includes great soundtracks, such as I Owe You, performed by Louis Prima, its Roundup Time in Reno, sung by the singing cowboy, Gene Autry, and the evergreen Minnie the Moocher, performed by who else? And in my opinion, another equally great song from this movie is Mama, I Want to Make Rhythm. Composed for the movie by New York-based composers and lyricists Jerome, Richard Byron, and Walter Kent. Little is known about the first two, but Walter Kent was an accomplished composer who made his living as a freelance architect in Hollywood. You may not have heard of Mama, I Want to Make Rhythm, but Walter Kent also wrote I'll Be Home for Christmas, I'm Gonna Live Till I Die, and The White Cliffs of Dover. Yeah, okay. When this was last performed in public, I have no idea. Okay. Get my dots in line. Okay. Ready?
Yeah. Yasha was a prodigy since he was a kid of 3. He could play a melody as good as they come. But as strange as it may be, Yasha hated melody. He had a yen for timpani. He longed to play the drum. When his mother made him practice on the fiddle every day, he'd stop right in the middle and he'd say, Mama, I wanna make rhythm, don't wanna make music, just wanna go da-ti-da-ti-da-ti-da-ti-da-ti-da-ti-da-ti-da. Mama, I wanna get hot-cha, I wanna make boomba, I wanna go da-ti-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I've got no desire to carry a Stradivarius, but there's no limit of primitive tom-tom in my tum-tum. Mama, I wanna make rhythm, don't wanna make music, just wanna go ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Mama, I wanna make rhythm, don't wanna make music, just wanna go da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Mama, I wanna get hot-cha, I wanna make boomba, I wanna go da-di-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. For I've got no desire to carry a Stradivarius, but there's no limit of primitive tom-tom in my tum-tum. Mama, I wanna make rhythm, don't wanna make music, just wanna go da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Our second song from 1937 was composed by another giant of the great American songbook, Irving Berlin. Like Gershwin's family, Berlin's parents also fled from poverty, religious persecution, and the pogroms of Russian Siberia, arriving in Ellis Island in 1893. Unlike thousands of other Jewish immigrant families, including Gershwin, Al Jolson, Louis B. Mayer, and the Warner Brothers, after settling in New York, they Americanized their last name. So Berlin became Balin, B-A-L-I-N-E, for a while. Sadly, during the first decade of the family's new life in the New World, Israel's father died. To support the family, the children took over the role of breadwinners. The sisters wrapped cigars, and Israel's brothers worked in the garment sweatshops. Israel, or Izzy as he was called, worked as a newspaper boy in New York's Bowery district. And as he stood for hours on street corners, he heard music coming from nearby saloons and restaurants. He quickly learned the songs and began to sing as he sold his newspapers. Passers-by began to toss coins at his feet. And he thought, And he soon discovered what kind of music earned the largest donation. Soon he confessed to his mother that his newfound love of music necessitated a career change from newspaper boy to singing waiter. A dream he fulfilled in 1906, when 18-year-old Izzy was employed as a singing waiter at the Pelham Cafe in Chinatown, where this teenage musician discovered an old beat-up piano. And during his free time, he began to teach himself to play. This led to making up tunes, and at this broken-down piano in 1907, he composed his first song called Marie from Sunny Italy. Published for 33 cents, the sheet music had a typo, and the composer's last name was spelt as B-E-R-L-I-N. So Izzy Berlin became Irving Berlin. His big break as a songwriter came in 1911 with... You've sung this. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da. Right, thank you. Right, and though strictly not in ragtime style, Alexander's Ragtime Band made Berlin an overnight songwriting sensation. Initially written as an instrumental march, it was only when Berlin added his own lyrics rather than collaborate with a lyricist that Alexander's Ragtime Band became a hit. Unlike Gershwin's songs, Berlin preferred to write his own lyrics. The history of popular music only has a few creators of equally great words and music. Cole Porter is one. Frank Loesser is another one. He wrote Guys and Dolls. He wrote A Baby's Cold Outside. And in 1914, capitalizing on the success of Alexander's Ragtime Band and the popularity of Scott Joplin's ragtime style, Berlin wrote a ragtime review, cleverly entitled Watch Your Step. Just a couple of quotes. By the end of the 1910s, Berlin had written hundreds of songs, many of which were based on the latest dance crazes, such as the grizzly bear, the chicken waltz, the hula hula, and most lastingly, the foxtrot. Gradually, Berlin transitioned from composing dance music to more lyrical ballads. For example, the beautiful A Pretty Girl is Like a Melody was written for the Ziegfeld Follies of 1919 for the Broadway impresario, and later included in the 1936 movie version called The Great Ziegfeld. In April 1917, President Wilson declared that America was entering World War I. Berlin felt that Tin Pan Alley should support the war effort by writing patriotic songs. And though Berlin was drafted into the army, the government wanted him to keep writing these kinds of songs. Or as one newspaper headline announced, ironically, his much-loved God Bless America, written in 1918, was not performed in public until 2 decades later, marking the 20th anniversary of the end of World War I. And the ever-patriotic Berlin even assigned all royalties from the song, God Bless America, to the Boys and Girls Scouts of America, a magnanimous gesture that earned him the Congressional Gold Medal from President Eisenhower in 1954. In 1980, when the US Olympic hockey team defeated the Russians, known as the Miracle on Ice, yes? Not a hockey guy. I'm a rugby man. The players and supporters all sang God Bless America. 21 years later, God Bless America was sung by congressmen on the steps of the Capitol after the terrorist attacks of 9/11. By 1926, Berlin had reached the peak of his creative output. And following the attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, America entered World War II. Again, Berlin was commissioned to write patriotic songs for the war effort. Songs such as Any Bonds Today, and my favorite, I Paid My Income Tax. A stage show called This Is the Army was written for an all-male cast, and following a premiere on Broadway over the next 3 years, Berlin traveled with the show worldwide at military bases to perform it. This Is the Army was made into a movie in 1943, starring Joan Leslie and Army Lieutenant Ronald Reagan. And one of the highlights of this movie is God Bless America, belted out by renowned singer Kate Smith. The intended songwriter for this new musical was showboat composer Jerome Kern. But sadly, this close friend of Berlin's died unexpectedly, so the producers asked Berlin to take over as composer. Loosely based on the life of legendary sharpshooter Annie Oakley, Annie Get Your Gun includes classic show tunes such as You Can't Get a Man with a Gun, Anything you can do, I can do better. And of course, the showstopper, there's no business like show business. A song that Berlin thought the producers wouldn't like in the show. But the success of Annie Get Your Gun did not guarantee that the following shows would also be hits. I've never heard of these shows: Miss Liberty, Call Me Madam, Wise Guy, Mr. President, etc. In 1962, age 74, Berlin announced his retirement and spent the remaining years in New York. During that time, he maintained a low profile and hardly appeared in public even to attend events in his honor. Berlin died age 101 in 1989. During the 1930s, a new dance craze, swing, swept the nation. And He Ain't Got Rhythm is typical of this music style, and the song's popularity played a vital role in solidifying Benny Goodman's reputation as the king of swing. He Ain't Got Rhythm catapulted his band to fame and paved the way for his subsequent achievements and securing his legacy as one of the greatest clarinetists and band leaders of all time. This song has actually been recorded as well by other giants of popular music, such as Jimmy Lunsford, Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, and Tony Bennett, and Tim Lynch. Let me get my page turns. Okay. I think I'm ready.
I know a professor of great renown, and he is the loneliest man in town. He's as smart as a man can be, but he never has company. Why is he the loneliest man in town? He ain't got rhythm. Every night he sits in the house alone 'cause he ain't got rhythm. Every night he sits there and wears a frown. He attracted some attention when he found the fourth dimension, but he ain't got rhythm, so no one's with him, the loneliest man in town. A lonely man is he, bending over his books. His wife and family keep giving him dirty looks 'cause he ain't got rhythm. When they call him up, it's to call him down. If a flaring aviator, he encircled the equator, but he ain't got rhythm, so no one's with him, the loneliest man in town. I ain't got rhythm. Every night I sit in the house alone 'cause I ain't got rhythm. Every night I sit there and wear a frown. With the problem scientific, I'm colossal and terrific, but I ain't got rhythm, so no one's with Tim, the loneliest guy in town. A lonely man is me, bending over my books. My wife and family keep giving me dirty looks 'cause I ain't got rhythm. When they call me up, it's to call me down. In the month of January, I compiled a dictionary, but I ain't got rhythm, so no one's with Tim, the loneliest guy in town.
Just change the words. Change the words. Copyright there, you know? Okay. Parents Carrie and Ray Cash could not agree on a first name for their new baby. So as a compromise, the birth certificate has J.R. Cash. Born into a poor Arkansas family, from age 5, J.R. picked cotton with his 6 siblings and singing as they worked. J.R. also enjoyed gospel music and listening to the radio. His family's economic struggles during the Great Depression gave J.R. a lifelong sympathy for working people and inspired many of his songs. For example, the essence of the lyrics of Get Rhythm is the singer's interaction with the shoeshine boy. After being taught the guitar by his mother, aged 12, he began writing his own songs. In 1950, he enlisted in the Air Force as a radio operator. But the service enrollment did not permit initials, so he used John R. Cash. While stationed in Landsberg, West Germany, he formed his first band, called the Landsberg Barbarians. And following an honorable discharge in 1954, Cash returned to Texas, married his first wife, Vivian, then relocated to Memphis, Tennessee. There, he played with guitar with various local artists before working up the courage to ask intimidating producer and owner of the studio where rock and roll was born, Sam Phillips of Sun Records, for a recording contract. Sadly for Cash, recording gospel music was no longer profitable. So J.R. tried a different approach. And in June 1955, as Johnny Cash, he recorded future hits such as Cry, 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 Hey Porter, Folsom Prison Blues, I Walk the Line, Ring of Fire, etc., etc. In 1957, Johnny Cash was the first Sun Studios artist to release an LP. Does that need clarification? Where are the young ones? LP, yes? Okay, I was going to bring a diagram, but there we go. But though his career was really taking off, the pressure of work resulted in his drinking heavily, and he became addicted to amphetamines and barbiturates, stimulants that kept him awake during the exhausting touring, resulting in a marked deterioration in his health during the following decades. In the early 60s, the famous singing Carter family came to Johnny Cash's rescue, and eventually he married June Carter in 1968. Following her death in 2003, Johnny Cash passed away 4 months later, age 71. His gravesite is the Hendersonville Memory Gardens in Tennessee, and it continues to be a shrine to his ongoing worldwide fan base.
Hey, get rhythm. When you get the blues, come on, get rhythm. When you get the blues, get a rock and roll feeling in your bones. Get paps on your toes and get gone, get rhythm. When you get the blues, a little shoeshine boy never gets low down, but he's got the dirtiest job in town. Bending low at the people's feet on the windy corner of a dirty street. When I asked him when he shined my shoes, how'd he keep from getting the blues? He grinned as he shook his little head. He popped a shoeshine rag and then he said, get rhythm. When you get the blues, come on, get rhythm. When you get the blues, a jumping rhythm makes you feel so fine. It'll shake all these troubles from your worried mind. Get rhythm. When you get the blues. Get rhythm. When you get the blues, come on, get rhythm. Get a rock and roll feeling in your bones, put taps on your toes and get gone, get rhythm. When you get the blues. Well, I sat and I listened to the shoeshine boy, and I thought I was gonna jump for joy. Slapped on the shoe polish left and right, shoeshine rag and he held it tight. He stopped once to wipe the sweat away. I said, you mighty little son to be working that way. He said, I like it with a big wide grin. Kept on a popping and he said it again, get rhythm. When you get the blues, come on, get rhythm. When you get the blues, It only costs a dime just to know there's $1 million worth of good for you. Get rhythm when you get the blues.
Should have said hi, actually. Leaping forward a decade, the musical Sweet Charity made its Broadway debut in 1966, the result of a collaboration of 4 giants of music theatre. Based on the 1957 Fellini movie, The Knights of Cabiria, the storyline revolves around the romantic ups and downs of Charity Hope Valentine, a prostitute in the movie transformed to a Times Square dancer for hire in the stage version. Cy Coleman was born in New York, and as a child prodigy, he gave piano recitals in Manhattan music venues such as Carnegie Hall. And though he was an accomplished classical and jazz performer, as a composer, he turned to popular music. In 1957, he began writing songs such as Witchcraft. This was followed by a decades-long career of musical hits and flops for the Broadway stage. Dorothy Fields was born in Allenhurst, New Jersey, and went to school in New York City. She was an exceptional student, excelling in English, drama, and basketball. She wrote poetry, which was published in the school's magazine, and as a lyricist, she co-wrote over 400 songs for Hollywood and the Broadway stage. Most well-known songs include The Way You Look Tonight, A Fine Romance, On the Sunny Side of the Street, and I'm in the Mood for Love, as well as Big Spender, another great song from Sweet Charity. Neil Simon was a New York-born playwright, author, and screenwriter. He wrote 30 plays and a similar amount of film screenplays, most of which were reworked versions of his stage works. After high school and serving in the Army, Air Force Reserve, he began writing comedy scripts for radio and TV, such as Sid Caesar's Show of Shows, before my time, I'm afraid, and the Phil Silvers Show, which we all know as, right, used to call a cappella Acapulco. I love that. Neil Simon's Broadway successes included Barefoot in the Park of 1963 and The Odd Couple of 1965. In 1983, Broadway acknowledged his talent by naming a theatre after him. Bob Fosse was born in Chicago. He was an actor, a dancer, a film, and a stage director. In 1969, Sweet Charity was his debut as a movie director, and in 1972, he won an Academy Award for Best Director of the musical Cabaret. He's mostly remembered as the creator of an innovative jazz style of choreography, exemplified by finger snaps, tilted hats, splayed fingers, shoulder rolls, and jazz hands, of course. The Rhythm of Life song opens Act 2 as Charity's love interest, Oscar Lindquist, takes her to his Rhythm of Life church in Manhattan, a suspect religious institution which turns out to be run by hippies and is soon raided by the police. Okay. Lots of page turns.
Daddy started out in San Francisco, tooting on a trumpet loud and mean. Suddenly a voice said, "Go for it, Daddy, spread the picture on a wider screen." And the voice said, "Brother, there's 1,000,000 pigeons ready to be hooked on new religions. Hit the road, Daddy, leave your common law wife. Spread the religion of the rhythm of life." And the rhythm of life is a powerful beat, with a tingle in your fingers and a tingle in your feet. Rhythm in your bedroom, rhythm in the street. Yes, the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. To feel the rhythm of life, to feel the powerful beat, to feel the tingle in your fingers, to feel the tingle in your feet. Daddy spread the gospel in Milwaukee, took his walkie-talkie to Rocky Ridge, blew his way to Canton, then to Scranton, till he landed under the Manhattan Bridge. Daddy was a new sensation, got himself a congregation, quite an operation down below. With the pied-eyed piper calling, with the muscatel was flowing, all the cats were going down below. Daddy was a new sensation, got himself a congregation, built up quite an operation down below. With the pied-eyed piper blowing, while the muscatel was flowing, all the cats were going down below. Flip your wings and fly to daddy, flip your wings and fly to daddy, flip your wings and fly to daddy, fly, fly, fly to daddy. Hit the floor and crawl to daddy, hit the floor and crawl to daddy, hit the floor and crawl to daddy, crawl, crawl, crawl to daddy. To feel the rhythm of life, to feel the powerful beats, feel the tingle in your fingers, to feel the tingle in your feet, to feel the rhythm of life, to feel the powerful beat, to feel the rhythm in your fingers, to feel the rhythm in your feet. Daddy, we got the rhythm of life, of life, of life, of life. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Before we hear our final song, you may have noticed from my list of songs with rhythm in the title, many little-known songs from the 1980s, 90s, and 2000s, such as Rhythm of the Night, and 3 songs with the same title called Rhythm of Love. And in my opinion, they should remain little-known, unless you're a fan of pop videos. Okay. Low-quality music concealed by a fig leaf of visual media-hyped shock sensation, flash effects editing. So, no personal feelings there. Let's take, for example, 3 songs, which I'm sure you all know, each with the same title, Rhythm of Love, the first of which appeared in 1987 by English progressive band Yes. Rhythm of Love appeared on their first album, Big Generation. The following year, a different Rhythm of Love song was recorded by the German heavy metal band Scorpions. And in 2010, yet another Rhythm of Love song was recorded by US rock band Plain White T's. And then there's the much-loved Rhythm of the Night, first recorded in 1986 by, as you all know, Italian Eurodance band Corona, and as we all know and love, covered in 2009 by the US soul-funk barge band DeBarge. Back in the real world, we do return to the 1980s for our final song with rhythm in the title, Rhythm of My Heart, a staple of which well-known singer? Would you like a clue? Might be. A song I'm sure you all know, which was written in 1986 by Mark Jordan and John Capek. I use the term written loosely because apparently the melody is based on the Scottish traditional tune Loch Lomond. So it's hardly an original composition, in my opinion. Myself, I don't hear the connection, but what do I know? Nevertheless, the alleged Loch Lomond link probably makes you think that Rhythm of My Heart was written specifically for proud to be Scottish Rod Stewart. He was actually born in London, so he's English. So think again. The first artist to record this song was, would you like some clues? Right. A Dutch singer, a guitarist, songwriter, and producer, an Elvis Presley impersonator known as the Dutch Elvis. Yes. Right. So, let's end with this song. Here are the composers. It's a very international song because Mark Jordan was US born, raised in Canada, now living in Canada, and John Capek was Czech born, Australia raised, and Canada based. So that's all you need to know. And on behalf of Tim and myself, I would like to thank you all for coming tonight and hope you've enjoyed our selection of songs with rhythm in the title and learned something about the songs and their creators. So let's end with this one.
Okay, so Delice claims that I picked this song, so if, I'll just blame me. Across the street, the river runs. Down in the gutter, life is slipping away. Let me still exist in another place, running under cover of a helicopter blade. The flames are getting higher in effigy, burning down the bridges of my memory. Love may still be alive somewhere, some way, when they're down in only dear 100 steel towns away. Well, the rhythm of my heart is beating like a drum, with the words I love you rolling off my tongue. Oh, never will I roam, for I know my place is home. Where the ocean meets the sky, I'll be sailing. Photographs and kerosene light up my darkness, light it up, light it up. I can still feel your touch through those thin blue jeans. Running down the alley, I've got my eyes all over you, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, the rhythm of my heart is beating like a drum, with the words I love you rolling off my tongue. No, never will I roam, for I know my place is home. Where the ocean meets the sky, I'll be sailing. I'll be sailing. Oh, I've got lightning in my veins, living like the handle of a slot machine. Love may still exist in another place. I'm just yanking back the handle, no expression on my face. Oh, the rhythm of my heart is beating like a drum, with the words I love you rolling off my tongue. No, never will I roam, for I know my place is home. Where the ocean meets the sky, I'll be sailing. Oh, the rhythm of my heart is beating like a drum, with the words I love you rolling off my tongue. No, never will I roam, for I know my place is home. Where the ocean meets the sky, I'll be sailing.
Thank you, Delice. Thank you, Tim. Thank you all for coming. Your friends can watch this on video on Walnut Creek TV or on our website, www.whatever.org. And please join us on November 19th when we've got Bay Area author Gail Tsukiyama talking about her new book, The Brightest Star. And again, if you need the elevator, see Marissa in the back or Lauren or Lauren over there, and they'll get you into the elevator. Good night and thank you.